Up till now in Unit 1, which we were discussing, we have talked about the service industries, and we also talked about the global as well as Indian trends as far as service sector is concerned and the reason for growth in the service sector. We talked about the classification of services and did a comparison of goods with services. We also understood what service mix categories are. Then we talked about the different characteristics of services and we understood what are their implications for a marketer. And then we started talking on the 7 P's and we took up all these 7 P's one by one. And the more important of the discussion took place in case of the extra 3 P's that we have here. The first one is physical evidence, then we have the processes, and then we have the third more important P, and which is known as the people, right? So the discussion that we are going to today have is on people aspect, or on the 7th P of the service marketing mix. Now please understand, in service marketing people are also very important. What is the reason that people are also important? In goods, please understand, the customer does not have to interact with people who are producing the goods. Parle biscuits may be produced in a plant in Rudupur and the customer may have it in Pithoragarh, and he does not come in contact with the person who are involved in production of the Parle G biscuits. On the other hand, this is generally not the case with services. Here, the production people and those who are there to consume the services, the producer as well as the consumer, both of them, they are generally face to face, or they are generally interacting very closely with each other, and that is why people aspect becomes very, very important as far as marketing of services is concerned. Please also understand what we mean by people. We are not only talking about the service provider, that the employees of the service firm, we are also talking about the customers, and we are also talking about the co-customers, the fellow customers. So basically we are talking about the service provider and the customer who has come to purchase the service, and the other fellow customers who have also come to purchase the service. So all these three have to be looked into. There could be variability because of any of these three. In the quality of service, there could be a variability because of any of these three. Is that okay? Now let me give you an example and then we'll be able to understand this better. Now this is the scene of a cinema hall from inside. You can see that there are food counters also here, and this is where the theater is, and the doors, these are the doors to the theater, and then there is the food counter. Now let us understand what we mean by the service provider. The company which is actually showing these movies or which owns this particular theater is the service provider. They also probably own the facilities which are provided to the customers inside, like these fooding facilities and everything. So they are the service providers, and who the customers are, have a look at this. These two are the customers, and there are other customers also, but let us talk from the perspective of these two customers. So they are the customers who have come here to watch movie. They are having popcorn, and probably the girl is having some cold drink, and then the other people around who have also come along with these customers to watch the movie, they are the co-customers, they are the fellow customers. Now please understand that the quality of service is dependent not only on the service provider but also on the customer as also on the co-customer, and that is why we need to take into account all these three entities. Now please understand, service provider, what if the person who is manning this particular counter, he is grousy or grumpy in a particular day? He would probably not be able to serve the customer better. He would not smile at the customer, he would not greet him, and then this could be perceived as a service failure also by the customer. This could also lead to some dissatisfaction at the customer end. So the service provider may have an impact on the service quality. The customers may also have an impact on the service quality. For example, they have come to watch the movie, and supposing this lady is having cold, zukham hai, right? And when she starts having this cold drink, After that, she starts sneezing and coughing, and because of which she is not able to concentrate on the movie. So for her, the movie experience would not be very satisfying one. It would in fact be not a very satisfying one. And who is responsible for this dissatisfaction at her end? She herself is responsible. She should not have had the cold drink, because the moment she had the cold drink, because of sneezing and coughing which started, she could not enjoy the movie. So she was herself responsible for the low quality of service, or low satisfaction from the service quality at her end. And then these co-customers can also cause a variation in the service quality. For example, let's say this couple goes inside and these two boys, they start commenting on them, for example, right? Or they start whistling. Naturally, this couple would not enjoy this experience. They would not be able to focus on the movie. They would not be able to focus on the popcorn. They would be concerned about these two people who are continuously whistling at them or making comments at them. And for them, the quality of the service, the perception of quality of service would suffer. They would come out dissatisfied. And this happened not because of them, not because of any problem with the service provider, but because of the fellow customers. So all these three you have to take into account whenever you are talking about people, or the seventh P of the service marketing mix. Now let us talk about how do you manage the three different types of people who are involved in the service delivery process: the service provider, the customer, and the co-customer. So we'll be talking about them individually. So how do you deal with the variability caused by the service providers, your own employees? How do you ensure that they do not vary their service delivery quality from one instance to the other? They deliver the quality of the same service across different situations. So how do you ensure that? Right? So we'll be talking about this. Now please understand, service providers, they provide service. Now this is the lady who is the service provider, and this is the customer. She is here to book a ticket, for example. And it may so happen that there are no co-customers as of now. At least they cannot be seen in this particular photograph. So the service providers or the employees, they provide service. Now it is very important to understand that there is no quality check between production and sales. Now she is the one who is producing the service, and she is the one who is actually consuming the service, and there is no quality check. Nobody is checking whether she is greeting the customer, or she is smiling at the customer or not, or whether she is answering the customer queries or not. Nobody is having a look at it. Nobody is monitoring this. In case of goods, what happens? If a Parle-G biscuit has been produced in a factory, what will happen then? It will go to the quality control, and only if it is passed by the quality control, then only it will then be sent across to the distributors and retailers, and it will get into the hands of the customer. So there's a quality check between production and sales, but that is not the case here, and that is why service providers become very, very important. And how do you ensure that the employees or the service providers are up to the mark? So first of all, you should only recruit people who have the traits required for the job. For example, in this kind of a job, this lady has to continuously greet the customer, continuously keep smiling. She cannot have a frown on her face. Gussa nahi ho sakti. Even if she may be correct at times, she may be wrong at times, but she simply cannot show it on her face. She has to greet all the customers with a pleasant smile. So does she have this trait? Only recruit if you feel that a particular individual has that trait. If that particular individual generally does not like to smile, or has a face with frowns, or has a face with wrinkles on her forehead, then probably she is not the right candidate for this kind of a job. So you have to be very cautious while doing the recruitment. And if somehow you have recruited people who do not have the traits, then how do you impart those traits to them? By providing them training. So if you have recruited this individual, this lady, but she does not greet the customer every single time, does not smile at the customer, then what do? You have to provide her training. So if you provide training, then also this particular lady can cultivate this particular trait. So either you ensure that you are choosing the correct person at the recruitment and selection stage. If somehow you have chosen the wrong person, try to have him inculcate these skills through training. So train him so that he or she can inculcate the skills required for the job. Then the employee should also have these skills to serve the customer. So you can train the employee to have these skills. Then the employee should also be motivated. It may so happen that she has these skills, she knows everything, and she knows she has to greet the customer with a smile, but she's still not smiling because she is not happy with the salary that she has got. She is not happy with the salary that has been given to her. Or it may so happen that she is not happy with the bonus that was given to her in the last peak season. So then she would not be motivated and she would not want to serve the customers well. So you have to have these people adequately motivated, and one way is to ensure that they are paid well through compensation management. And these people should also know their roles clearly. So these people, service providers, employees, the front desk employee or the front stage contact employees, they should be aware of what they are supposed to do. They should know their roles, how they have to conduct themselves in front of the customer. Should they greet or should they not greet? So they have to be clarified everything, right? And once we have clarified them everything, okay, please greet when the customer comes, please say namaste, please ask very cordially for the order, please try to please the customer. If she asks for something else, provide that also. So all these instructions have to be given to them, and one way of doing this is through service scripts, right? We'll be studying about service scripts in a little detail in a little while from now. Please understand, this is called internal marketing. Training the service provider and motivating them is known as internal marketing, specifically motivating them. Internal marketing, a marketing which is actually focused on the internal stakeholders, the employees. So once the employees, your front stage people, those who come in close face-to-face contact with the customer, they are happy and satisfied because they are being paid well, they would be able to serve the customer well, right? So this is known as internal marketing, and this is known as interactive marketing, right? So providing the service scripts to your front stage people is known as interactive marketing. Now let us understand what we mean by service scripts. Now service scripts, they are guidelines for the frontline employees as to how they have to behave, how they have to conduct themselves during the service encounter. Fine. What they have to do, for example, what words they have to choose, what phrases they have to choose, what body language has to be shown, what kind of gestures have to be shown, right? What do we mean by body language? Gesture, making signs using your face or maybe hands, posture, how you are sitting or standing, right? Paralanguage is that aspect of spoken word which does not contain language, so that is paralanguage. For example, if I am pausing in between, this is an example of, अगर मैं रुक रहा हूँ दो सेंटेंस के बीच में, pause, that is an example of a paralanguage. So it is the spoken aspect, but it does not contain language. Or if I am stressing on a particular thing, now this is again an example of a paralanguage. When I stressed on a particular word, this is example of paralanguage. So these things have to be taught, these things have to be made crystal clear to the employees, and this can be done through service scripts. Fine. What do we mean by service encounter? When the customer is interacting with the employees. So that is a service encounter, right? For example, have a look at this. These are the air hostesses, and no matter who boards the plane, it could be a commoner, it could be a politician, it could be a film personality, no matter who gets on the plane, who boards the plane, you will always find them greeting the guest with folded hand, saying namaste or smiling also. Right? So why? Because they have been given these service scripts. So when the guest comes in, you have to smile, say namaste. Right? So this service script has been shared with them, so they know as to what role they have to perform. Now let's have a look at example of a service script. Now this is a service script. Greeting the customer for the first time. Now everything has been mentioned. Hello, sir. Thank you for reaching out. How can I help you? I hope you understand this is a service script for a telemarketer, somebody, tele-executive, or customer care executive. So when you call up somebody in Vodafone or Idea or Airtel for that matter, or maybe you call up the customer care number of any organization, the people who respond would respond like this, because this service script has been shared with them. Hello Ram, thank you for reaching out. How can I help you? Hello, you are speaking to my name. Your name means you would be speaking out your own name. So the telemarketing executive will speak out his own name. So you are speaking to Gaurav. What can I assist you with? Again, if you have to build a rapport with the customer you have interacted with a couple of times, so he has been a regular customer and he has interacted with you a number of times, then what do you say? Hey, I hope you're doing well. What can I assist you with today? If you have to greet the repeat customers, this is what you have to do when you already know the customer's issue and have a solution ready. When you know what problem the customer is facing and you have your solution ready, then what are you going to say? I just noticed that you have this problem. Have you tried this solution? So this is how you are preparing the service script, and this would be shared with the employees, and the employees would use the service scripts to accordingly behave in front of the client when they are face to face with the client. Right? So this is an example of service script. Now let's talk about the other two entities, the customers as well as the co-customers. Now what do we mean by the customers? We have already discussed that the fellow customers would be known as co-customers. Now let us understand what we need to do. Do not let customers from different segments come in close contact. Now I've taken up these two pictures from different segments. People are from different segments. These are people who are ready to spend a handsome amount of money to get air conditioned service. So they have boarded the air conditioned compartment while they have boarded the third class compartment, which is very much crowded. Have a look at this, and the seats also do not have any cushion over them. While have a look at the seats here, you look at the kind of infrastructure here, but you see that here it's not, because this is basically meant for those customers who are from really poor background, who do not want to spend a lot of money in traveling to train. So what you have done is you have actually separated them. So they are basically two different segments. A rich upper class customer who can spend 1,000 and more for a particular journey, while these are people who cannot spend more than 200-300 rupees on a particular journey. So you have separated these two different segments, and you do not let them come in contact, because what if you ask both of them to board the same compartment? Then either these people, this particular segment would not be happy, or this segment would not be happy. What if you ask these people to board this kind of a compartment? Would they be happy? They would not be happy. So when you have two different segments that you are catering to, you should have two different market offerings for them, and you should not let these two different segments to come in close contact with each other. For example, what happens if you are not smoking, if you do not smoke, and you go inside a theater and the fellow customer smokes? Would you like the experience of watching the movie? You would not. So we should not let such segments intermingle while the service is being delivered. Then again, we can also provide clear-cut instructions for customer. Now this is something that I have taken from Indian Railways. Have a look. These articles are not accepted as luggage with passengers. So we have given a clear-cut idea to our customer as to what conduct is expected of him. So these articles he should not be bringing. That is something that we have made very clear, and we have given these pictures so that those who are a little illiterate, they may also understand what all items are forbidden, what all items cannot be brought to the train. So likewise, you can give clear-cut instructions. For example, if you are running a movie and owning a theater house, you can give a clear-cut instructions that smoking is not allowed, smoking is prohibited inside the hall. Those who want to smoke may make use of the smoking area near the toilet. So these are clear-cut instructions for the customers. Right? So in the next lecture that we'll talk about the latest trend in the service marketing, and with that we would be able to end the unit number 1. Thank you very much for your time.